Hey guys, sorry I'm a little bit late. I was supposed to be on at like 10 minutes ago, but yeah, I needed to put on some makeup first. So yeah, welcome to episode 4 of the Happy Mama, Healthy Baby live show. Michelle Beckner here. Hey, Michelle Beckner Family Wellness. If you haven't joined me before, I'm here every Tuesday after nap time or after bedtime, and every Friday during nap time, talking about happy mama, healthy baby stuff. So what do I do here at Michelle Beckner Family Wellness? I help moms take care of themselves mentally and physically by eating right, so that they can take care of their babies. So how it works is Tuesday nights, after my kids go down, like 7:30, 8 o'clock, talk about happy mama stuff, and Friday afternoons, I'm on here talking about healthy baby stuff. So if you're here, join me live, then say hi, say where you're coming from, and if you watch this not live, then still say hi, I want to know. So anyway, today we are going to be talking about allergies and if it's something you ate or not. I like to be really careful about this because I know new moms, you've got a lot on your plate, so I don't want to just add another thing like as soon as your baby starts to get fussy or uncomfortable, it's automatically your fault, something you ate. So I put together what I hope is a pretty helpful and useful guide to see like if it's really worth making a change to your diet, or at least start noticing things in your diet. So yeah, I'll just jump right into it. I've got my notes over here so I don't forget anything. All right, so I'm going to go over some common symptoms that may be caused by food allergies or intolerances in breastfed babies. So like I'm talking about if you're breastfeeding your baby, you might want to change your diet if they've got some of these symptoms, all right? And I'm going to do them in order of severity. So first one is something that all babies do, and that's being fussy and crying and everything like that. So you kind of have to use your mama instinct here. If your baby seems just like excessively fussy or screaming its head off and there's absolutely no way of consoling him or her, and you kind of feel like you've reached the end of your rope, then there's something that, you know, you might want to think about doing something else. So, what was I going to say? I was going to say, because all babies scream at some point, like in the middle of the night or like whatever is least convenient for you, and you get frustrated with them, right? So anyway, so if you feel like, if you've got your mama bear instincts and you think that like maybe it is something, then the first thing I want you to do, and I have a link for a free guide so you don't have to remember all this stuff. It goes over everything that we're talking about, like a nice little checklist. So yeah, we're saying if your baby's excessively fussy or screaming or something like that, and you feel like something's just not right, the first thing I want you to do is check in with yourself, and think like, can you handle something else on your plate right now, or are you just like barely getting the chance to shove whatever food into your mouth that you can? Because if you feel like you're kind of barely getting by, then just take care of yourself first and don't worry too much about your baby. Just give it lots of hugs, give it over to your husband or friend, grandparents, like whoever can hold the baby and do what you can to console it. But I don't want you to put something else on your plate if you feel like you can't handle it right now. So with that being said though, try to just take a note of like maybe there's any patterns or something like that with things that you ate. Just kind of keep it in the back of your mind. And if things start to get worse, we'll come back to it. Or if you start getting some of these other symptoms, then come back to it. All right? So then the next step is, or next level of severity of symptoms is, especially after nursing, like within, I don't know, half hour after nursing it, if your baby just seems like generally uncomfortable, if their belly seems like really big and tight or like rock hard, if they are showing signs of discomfort like pulling up their legs while they're screaming, or like arching their back whenever you try to hold them. I know My son Bradley loves to do that whenever he's unhappy or uncomfortable. So if they're showing any of those signs after nursing, again, it could be other things, like maybe you have a strong letdown and they just took in like way too much than they could handle at once, or it could be multiple things. But again, we're talking about allergies here. So if they're doing that, or if you see that they have a rash, like usually it's like around their face or like their chest, or if they have eczema, sometimes it's even like their legs or their back or wherever. And sometimes a lot of people might call it baby acne, but if it's like severe baby acne, then it's probably not baby acne. It's probably some sort of rash. Or another really common thing is a really severe diaper rash that doesn't go away. So again, I just listed a lot of symptoms, right? So if they're really uncomfortable, they've got like a tight belly after they eat, they're arching their back, pulling their legs up, and or they have some sort of rash that you're not sure what it is, or a diaper rash that you can't get rid of. So these are kind of more like moderate signs of a potential food allergy. Again, it could very well not be, but that's what we're talking about today, right? So that's what I want you to start just keeping a mental note of what you're eating a lot of, and pay attention especially to the major allergens. So that's dairy, soy, nuts, and eggs. I think that's everything. And gluten too, wheat or gluten. So yeah, just start taking, I mean, if you want to get serious about it, write it down, like try to keep a food journal, but that's like, I've tried doing that before and I don't have time for that. Plus, especially when I'm nursing, I'm eating constantly. So it's just like, it ends up being a little ridiculous how much I write down, how much I eat during the day. So if you want to do that, that's cool. Otherwise, just like try to keep a mental note of those top allergens. That's dairy, soy, nuts, eggs, and gluten or wheat. Yeah, and then try to just realize like, okay, whoa, I eat a lot of dairy throughout the day. Like I have dairy, I have like a ton of milk with my breakfast, and then for lunch I have lots of cheese and yogurt. And you know, if you feel like you're eating a ton of dairy, then like, you know, that could be it. Or same thing with any of the other allergens, right? Dairy is usually like the most common. So yeah, so start taking a mental note what you're eating a lot of, and then maybe it's time to start cutting back. So like if you have dairy at every single meal, maybe be like, okay, I already had dairy at breakfast, so like let's not have any again until dinner, or let's not have any again until tomorrow. And at this point, like, don't worry too much about hidden dairy stuff. Just think about like obvious dairy that you're eating. Okay, so any of those like moderate level symptoms, that's when you want to start paying attention to what you're eating a lot of, and then maybe try to start limiting it. And then again, you're still maybe trying to pay attention to patterns. Like, is he more fussy after you've eaten a ton of dairy or what? Patterns are a little bit tough because it takes a while for the food to get processed in your body and then passed over into your milk, so it's not like a total correlation, and everybody's different how quickly it works. Like usually for my babies, it was usually like within 24 hours. Like the next day, if I accidentally ate dairy, then they'd be blown up pretty bad the next day. All right, so then lastly, this is pretty much a surefire sign that your baby's got dairy allergy, and that's their poops. Poops tell a lot about our health. Your poop, your baby's poop, whatever. They're pretty important by your health. I just realized it's been like really crooked. So the first thing you'll probably see if your baby does have a food allergy or food intolerance is like mucousy poop. And when I say that, if you don't really know what I'm talking about, then you probably haven't seen it before. But if you do know what I'm talking about, then you have seen it before. So mucousy poop is like if you, I mean, I'm talking to moms here, so nobody's grossed out by this, right? If you touch it, like it like is like a string, and it just like stretches forever, and it's gross. And it's usually greenish, but not always, because like, so baby poop is usually supposed to be like that nice, I say nice, that like mustardy yellowy color, right? But if it's maybe green, and then got like that mucousy, gross, weird, stretchy stuff. That's a pretty surefire sign that there's some sort of distress going on in their digestive system, probably due to a food allergy or food intolerance. And then definitely if you see blood in their poop, that's a surefire sign that there's something wrong. Either way, if you see mucus and or blood, that's when you want to call your doctor. What they're going to do is test their poop for microscopic blood. So like if you don't see it, they'll test if there's blood. If you do see it, they'll test to make sure that it is blood, and they'll also be able to tell you if the blood is coming from like their digestive system, or if it's coming from I don't want to get too graphic here, but if it's coming from anal fissures or something like that. So like if they have a cut like around their butt. Anyway, yeah, so that's when you definitely want to go see your doctor. And they'll do those tests, and then, yeah, so I guess I could go on from here, but the best thing to do is check out my my guide. I put together a guide, 7 things to know before you see your pediatrician about your baby's potential food allergy. I know it's a mouthful, but it's important stuff. So go to mlbfamilywellness.com/allergies, I believe. I can add the link here too, and there's a guide talking about that. So if you do see mucousy poops or bloody poops, call your doctor, read my guide so you're well informed before you go see your doctor. But anyway, the point is there's most likely some sort of digestive distress going on, and you're going to want to change your diet for sure. Your pediatrician hopefully won't tell you to stop breastfeeding because you really don't have to. Hopefully they'll tell you to cut out dairy, or they may tell you to cut out all the allergens. It's kind of up to you. Read my guide. It'll tell you a little bit more about that. So yeah, that's everything. So recap, because I've probably been talking for way too long. Mild symptoms is like extreme fussiness and crying, and that's when it's kind of up to you. See how you feel. Just start like kind of taking notice of what you're eating, and if things get worse, that's when you want to like start paying more attention. Next are the moderate symptoms. That's things like obvious discomfort, especially after eating. So like a tight belly, pulling up their legs, arching their back, or any kind of rash on their body, or really bad diaper rash that you can't seem to get rid of. Those are the moderate symptoms, and that's when you want to pay attention to what you're eating a lot of. Probably start trying to cut back a little bit and see if it makes a difference. Some babies can't handle any of these allergens, and some babies you just kind of have to cut back. I know with my son Bradley, I stopped eating dairy when he was about a month old, I think, which I wasn't eating too much before because I was kind of used to being dairy-free. Anyway, and then I brought dairy back into his diet when he was around 8 months, and now I can tell, like, if I eat too much, he starts getting some of those symptoms back. And he actually starts getting pretty bad congestion, too, which I haven't mentioned. That's another sign, usually in older babies. And that's a pretty mild sign, too. Anyway, where was I? Okay, so those are the moderate symptoms. So if you see those kind of moderate symptoms, that's when you want to start paying a lot closer attention, think about cutting back, all right? And then finally, the serious stuff is the poops. If you see those gross, weird, mucousy poops or blood in your poop, call your doctor, check out my guide, and before you go to the doctor, so you know what to expect and you kind of educate yourself a little bit. Yeah, and good luck. If you do end up needing to cut dairy or anything out of your diet, there's tons and tons and tons of great resources out there, Facebook groups with support. I guess just lastly, I want to close it out with, there's a couple things you can do. It's simple, but it's not necessarily easy, right? So you can spend, you'll definitely want to spend some time Googling like dairy-free swaps where there's hidden dairy, like looking for new recipes, joining some support groups, things like that. That's all stuff you can do on your own. And then where I come in, I can totally help you with all that and make sure like you've got a balanced diet and you're feeling healthy and all that. But a lot of people can seem to do that kind of stuff on their own. What I can really help you with is to make this change into less of a struggle and more of a positive change, like for the rest of your life. So yeah, that's what I'm here for. I just want to help. I don't want anyone to feel like they need to struggle or feel like this is such a horrible thing that's happened. There's tons of moms out here who've been through this before, but there's really not a lot of like go-to resources. So that's where I am. Alrighty, so anyway, it's Friday, Memorial Weekend, and I don't know about you guys where you are, but it's like sunny, cloudy today. So every time the sun comes out, I like run outside to get some sun. So hopefully we have some better weekend over the weekend, or better weather over the weekend. I've got lots of fun things planned with friends, so I'm excited. I hope y'all have a good time. I don't know why I keep saying y'all today. That is totally not how I normally talk. But yeah, so I'll leave you guys to enjoy your weekend, and don't forget to click the link here. So I guess I'll put links for 2 guides. One of them is this whole checklist with what to do depending what kind of symptoms you see. And then I'll also add, I guess maybe in the comments, a link to that free guide on about what to know before you go see your pediatrician. Alrighty, so cool. I'll see everybody back here Tuesday night talking about happy mama stuff. I think we're going to talk about meditation, so get your ohms on. Alrighty, guys. See ya.